Hi, welcome to Royally Speaking. I'm Demi J.
Hi, I'm NY Tasha. Today we're doing a review and reaction to Love is Blind. Now, keep in mind, this is not a recap. We will skip around like crazy, and we're mostly going to be reacting to the different things that happened from season 8, episodes 7 through 12. They just dropped, what was it, 10, 11, and 12 yesterday? We're going to let the wheel spin, and it's going to let us choose who. We're going to do this by couple. And the wheel's going to choose which couple we're going to talk about first. Ooh. Thing. All right, go ahead and drop it down. Drop it on a black couple for the one time Love is Blind. Always has one black couple that gets engaged every season. Mm-hmm. And this time it is Virginia and Devin. Well, Devin is mostly black. Or somewhat black. Or kind of black. Yeah. He looks black. All right. All right. So Virginia and Devin, well, you got anything?
We could start with episode 7. And what happened with them in episode 7?
Is that when they go to Honduras?
That is when...
Because I feel like they went to Honduras first and then they went back to each other's houses.
Right, yeah. So they went to Honduras first.
And so it was still episode 7 when they went back to each other's house. Episode 7, everybody kind of seems to still be in good, happy, just fresh off their engagements, just going to hang out with each other. They're in Honduras, I guess, and they're just having a good old time. I don't think they got back to their apartments or houses or whatever, went back to their regular
So which was the first scene with them? What was happening?
I believe they walk out onto the beach or something.
Right, okay. Yeah. And they were just having a good time then, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were just, everybody's having a good time in episode 7. At least in the beginning. For the most part. Actually, episode 7 doesn't open with them, but since we're talking about them, we're gonna start with how their scene opens.
Yes.
And while they're there, I guess they're in, because there's also like maybe like a beach house or a hotel or something attached to the water and the actual beach part. And they're sitting there and they're talking. He does show all his tattoos. And he happens to have like a mamba tattoo, which I think is cute. Also, he reveals that he plays video games. Either way, it's still kind of happy.
He reveals that he plays video games in the confessionals. He told her he doesn't. I mean, in the pods, he told her he doesn't before.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Oh. And she was like, okay, good.
Okay. I feel like there was a point where he said video games. We might have to go look at that again. But that was after they went to Honduras.
Yeah.
But they also get massages. I guess it's some type of retreat or resort. And you can get a lot of like things that you get at a hotel. So they also get massages. They go into a little pool. There's a lot that happens. It's really cute. That whole thing is cutesy. And that's mainly what happens in episode 7 between them. But episode 8 is where they show the sneaker collection.
Right. Okay.
And Virginia brings up that she wants a prenup. But we'll get to that.
This is the bedroom. I got all the shoes over here.
This is a collection here.
Yeah, well, I have more.
How much do they cost? How much is this habit costing me?
These, like $700.
Oh wow! So he collects sneakers. It sounds like he buys maybe 2 pair a month. So every month he probably maybe, I don't know. Does he have a subscription to something? I don't know. How do you get 2 pairs of sneakers a month?
I think he just buys them every month.
There they go right there.
See, I see Nikes.
I see nothing but
Nikes.
I see a lot of them up there.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it? It's not that bad. Anyway, there's a point where she goes, how much is this costing me? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I get it. She said, how much is this habit costing me?
Yes.
And I get it. Because if you married, your funds are together and whatever he wastes money on, you're wasting money on. I'm not saying his sneaker collection is a waste. I'm just saying it's a habit. And she wants to know, like, since he might be collecting like maybe vintage or collectibles or even rare sneakers, and those would of course cost more than plain old sneakers. Anyway, it's cute. All the stuff is cute. I wonder if he wears them or if he just collects them.
I'm pretty sure he wears them, but I would think he would wear them.
Well, she, at some point, they go on and they talk about how she's financially responsible, and
That's where.
Go ahead.
That's where they had the first prenup discussion too.
Right. So she brings up that she wants a prenup. He's kind of like, what? And then she gives a good explanation about why she would want a prenup. But she kind of, Virginia can finesse her words. I'm not going to lie. So she's like, well, let's say that you build this big basketball empire. And, should I be allowed to walk away with half of that? And then he was like, now that I think about it, we might need a prenup. Anyway, now, he didn't say those words, but that's the look he had. Anyway, they move on. They talk about a few other things, but mainly that she's financially responsible. And then she also mentions that they would need separate accounts. This is like when I see we got a picture up there, but this is way after. This is the prenup conversation. But I think this is
the first one. There's two separate ones.
There's separate ones? Okay, yeah. This is when they first start talking about it. Is she showing him a prenup?
Yeah. That's showing him what it looks
like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then, of course, there's another one where they talk about it again.
Yeah. I don't think she showed him one the first time she brought it up.
Yeah.
She ended up showing him one later on. But anyway, this is still the conversation. Yeah. Anything else interesting happen between them? Yeah. So we are doing 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12. So this is 7, 8, well, let's move on to 10, 11, and 12.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it does get good. And I mean, it was always good though, but it gets better. So we are still talking about Virginia and Devin, right? I had Devin's name spelled wrong at some point. But so I want to say episode 10 is where they meet the parents, where everybody goes to meet their parents.
Yes, right, yeah.
So they go and sit down with Virginia's mom. And the first thing Virginia's mom says is, let me see the ring. And so she's like, mm-hmm. And then Virginia's mom looks at the ring and she's like, I don't know if she was impressed. And while she had that look, Devin is like, exciting, right?
Yeah.
And then they just start talking about commitment and a few other things like that. He says his family is really committed. Virginia's mom says, well, how do you feel about Virginia being from a divorced family? And, the conversation kind of goes a little well from there. Everybody seems to be still doing well, and it's going pretty good. I think Virginia and Devin generally do well. They talk things out. They don't argue, they don't yell. They don't, they don't get toxic. They don't really
yeah, you're right. It was this one actually.
They let other people come in and stray their views about their relationship for the most part. Devin does listen to his parents a little bit, but for the most part, we're pretty good. I think he said his parents are married when they were talking about commitment. I think he said his parents are married for 34 years and his sister's been married for 10 and everybody in his family just stays committed. So with that, with him being so good with commitment, I think our mom was a little relaxed. I think our mom kind of felt, I think this is going to work out. So I think that's pretty good too. Later on, this might be in the same episode. They're laying in bed talking. And then Virginia asks, is there anything they need to talk about? Devin's like, no, I'm good. So Virginia's like, is there anything you want to talk about? Devin's not interested. So they talk about some other things. Then they go, she said, again, is there anything you want to talk about? At some point, they end up bringing up religion. But what does Virginia want? I was like, I'm looking at what do you want to know? What do you want him to talk about? And at some point, you're going to have to spit it out because he's clearly like, I am good. They end up talking about politics. So while they're talking about politics, she mentions her family. She thinks it's important to vote. Her family generally votes Democratic. He said something about conservative or something, but he said he doesn't care that much or whatever it was. He didn't seem to be that interested in politics.
Yeah, she didn't seem to like that.
She didn't seem to like it at all. They just didn't seem to be aligned too much with that. They passed it at all. that's not what she really wanted to talk about. But it came up, so she talked about it. Anyway, I know Virginia's getting at that prenup. That's what she really, in my opinion, she really wants to talk about that prenup, but it is not coming up naturally. So she's like, maybe we talk about some other things. Maybe it'll come up naturally. So, but here's the thing. And when she's talking about that her dad is, I mean, that her family is Democratic, and they vote their views or their beliefs. They vote their beliefs. She was like, well, my family's black, so now Devin is black, but you know his mom is white. So he's like, well, my dad's black. I cannot. That scene was just funny. Not toxic. They were just talking. And, I mean, they were okay still. So now after my dad's black, so she's like, yeah, everything matters. And then she goes, so is there anything else we need to talk about? I don't know how many times she asked, is there anything else we need to talk about? And he kept saying, I can't think of anything else. So I believe she leaves it alone after that. Mm-hmm. You know, they move on.
Then you can see the tattoos that we was talking about.
Oh, yeah, the tattoos. She out there like, all right. So now they move on. A lot of other stuff happens. Now we get to episode 12, and they're on a date. And oh, this date is so pretty. They're like little roses everywhere. It's so beautiful. I love the way it looks. And he gives her a gift. So he takes out this big bag. And in the bag, there's a basketball. And I believe it's like a
jersey, yeah.
And it says Team Buckley, which I guess is his last name. And he's just going on making her feel good about how this is, you know, this is us. This is our team. I want to show you that we're a team and we're in this together and all of that. And it was a really cute gift. He also addresses the prenup. Finally addresses the prenup. And he's yeah, so I think we're good, you know, unless people see it. Now, this is what I skipped over. At some point in one of the earlier episodes, he mentioned that he would have to let his parents look over the prenup, or his lawyer, or somebody he trusted. He's like, my family or my lawyer or somebody I trust. Which I felt like I would have been slighted a little bit if I was Virginia, because I'm like, you think you don't trust me? Anyway, like, you forgot I'm smart. You forgot what I'm doing. You forgot how to finesse. That's how I would have felt if I was Virginia. But he's like, no, you know, let me just make sure you try to finesse me. But I don't know, finesse about on what? Sneakers?
Yeah, I don't
know. All right. Well, anyway, he lets them look at it. And then in this last scene, he's like, all right, I'll sign it. And, you know, he eventually goes on to sign it. So that's what I remember about them. I think they're going to make it. They all right. So my opinion about the show as far as they're concerned, I think they're doing a good job. I don't think they're very boring at all. I think they're kind of there. They're going through it smoothly. There's not a lot of drama, but it's also not boring. There's stuff happening. There's something to talk about. There's topics you would think that would come up when it comes to getting married to somebody. So I'm invested. I always want to know what's going to happen with them next. But they're also not fighting or arguing, and there's no love triangles or anything like that with them. You know, other than that, I think they're pretty good. Now, whether I think they're going to make it or not, mostly, yeah. I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. But I do think they have I don't think they have anything in their way for the most part. I'm sure the politics thing might be bothering Virginia a little bit. But if they keep talking the way they do, they might be able to get past it. But that's how I feel. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll last. I guess.
You think they'll last? Mm-hmm. You have any opinion about them or how the show is going when it comes to them or anything like that?
Not really.
Not really? You do not like Love is Blind. All right. Okay. So that's it on Virginia and Devin. There are other stuff that comes up, but all of it has to do with the mixer, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say mixer, but it's the part where all of them meet up in a bar, where everybody meets up in a bar, even the people who didn't match, and they all come back up together. I don't even know the name of the bar they went to, but so we're just calling it the mixer. But we'll talk about that later.
Let's spin the wheel again.
All right, so let's spin the wheel. Maybe we'll get to that. Mixer is so big.
Yeah, why is that so huge?
Monica and Joey.
Uh-huh.
What do we have to say about them? Not much.
So I remember she's the one that had this family sock drawer.
It was like a sock bit.
That's pretty much what happened with them in episode 7. But in episode 8, I think he went to meet. Well, he's been having issues with her sister not accepting him or being iffy about it because she feels like she wanted to be married first. Yeah.
Also, her sister seemed to be a bit of a hater. They did have a sock bin, and he was not really feeling the sock bin. He's like, you don't know whose feet been in those socks. And they're like,
she was like, it's my family's feet.
Like, they all share each other's socks. Like she's like, if you need a sock, you just go in there and you pick one out or whatever. Like you pick out one sock, like you already have the other one. It's so weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
When he was at the house, he's like, do you also have an underwear bin? But he was joking.
That was funny.
Also, as for hater number 1, her sister, apparently she's always been a hater because Monica had to pass off one of her boyfriends to her sister.
Wow.
The dude that was in house with her sister apparently used to date Monica at some point. So I think that was funny. But so she has been. She just feels like she just needs to get married first. Maybe she doesn't want to marry that particular guy. But now Monica's about to get married. Her sister's still not married. And the dude her sister's with or wanted Monica first. So I can see, I would be a hater too, I guess.
Yeah.
In that situation.
So eventually he met the sister, I guess, again. And they
when she did a photo
shoot. So they was kind of getting along there.
That is, look at his long hair. Yeah. Is that the photo shoot? No, that's
when they was about to go. Like they did it right there, but that's not her taking pictures yet.
Yeah, she said she thought that they were like having a good time, and you could tell from the way they interacted with each other at the photo shoot. And yeah, I get it. They were like really not paying attention to her instruction. They were paying attention to each other. So she was like, I could tell that's two people who are, in love. She apologizes for being a hater, and then she gives them her blessing.
So
that's about it for them. Other than that, they're just happy-go-lucky and moving along. No drama, no issues.
Right.
Triangles, because there's some love triangles in Love is Blind. There really are. But they don't have one. Joey and Monica seem to be doing pretty well for Love is Blind. But doing pretty well makes you a little tiny bit boring. So not much to talk about there, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so that's all we got on them.
I guess we could have did their dresses and stuff too, but I guess not.
The way they dressed?
No, their dresses when they did the
when they went to get their wedding dresses?
Right, yeah.
Oh. Those dresses were so boring.
Boring, yeah.
I can't remember. Right. I don't even remember. I remember Virginia's dress.
It was pretty boring.
Everybody else, everything else about it, like somebody's mother was there, and they were the two sisters were drunk. Well, not they kept saying they weren't drunk enough, but it was just interesting.
Okay, so that's all. They look like they're going to work out. They don't really have much issues.
Yeah, I can't. If they go up to the altar and say no, I'm going to be like, where? Like, what happened?
Right.
Spinning like, nowhere. All right. Spinning the wheel.
So Daniel and Taylor.
All right. So Daniel and Taylor. Now, when we last left off at episode 6, Taylor was all concerned that Daniel had followed her and unfollowed her on Instagram. And she was like, oh, I think he knows me. And she was really, really concerned. And I had no idea. Apparently, Demi knew. But I had no idea what was going to happen next. So it opens up in episode 7 with them two. They have a little conversation at the table, having a little sit down. And she's telling him that she feels that he may have followed her. And he's like, what are you talking about or whatever? She's like, I think you follow me. And he's like, I'm clearly not following you. She's like, yeah, that's because you unfollow me. But he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I have a followers app. When I get my phone, I'm going to check and I'm going to see. And then here comes the production. Here's your phone, man.
I was say, do the followers apps even work?
What is a followers app? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what it does. Whatever that is, she opens it and she's like scrolling. She ends up scrolling forever. She never finds it. And she's like, okay, maybe I was wrong.
Right.
Before that, though, when she asked him if she followed him, and if he followed her, and she's like, "Do you have this type of picture? You have a picture in front of a tree? Do you have this?" And he's like, "No,
He's just casually like, no."
So like, he is not like, "What are you accusing me of? This sounds crazy. What's wrong with you?" He is more like, "I don't think I have a picture like that. I have a different picture in front of a fireplace." Like, he's just like explaining himself. I just think he was way too calm for her to be accusing him of whatever she was accusing him of.
For sure.
Anyway, once she scrolls down, when she does the the wheel, the whole what's that thing? The Price is Right wheel, all the way down, and it never finishes scrolling. And she never finds.
Yeah, how long was she scrolling for?
She's scrolling forever. And then she eventually is like, "All right, I can't. It's too many. I didn't know I had so many followers." And she just like, "Okay," and then just move on.
Yeah,
forever. Never comes back up. They're just chilling after that. They're just having a good old time from then on. Like, everything. This is them at the table having that talk. But they really just move on from it. But
anything else happened with them?
Nothing that I can think of. They played putt at some point.
Oh, they're the ones that had the
Did they have a date on ice?
Yeah, that was them.
Yeah, it's just like things happen, but nothing that really, at least nothing that stands out that I can think of. Everything seems to be all good in episode 10. They took some Christmas photos in episode 11.
The Christmas photos. Yeah, that's the main thing that pretty much happened with them.
Everything is all cute with them. They take some Christmas photos and tell a photographer that it's for Christmas cards, but it's for, what do you call it? Like party favors for their wedding favors, wedding favors, whatever. So they have that. In episode 12, they just go to the bachelor and bachelorette parties. Nothing really special.
That was because they both love Christmas, right?
Yeah, that was the whole thing they bonded on, was their love of Christmas. Oh, there's a little Christmas photo. Now, if you zoom out from this, there'll be like a Christmas tree and other stuff.
Right, yeah, I was just showing how they took the shots. They took a good shot right there.
That was a really good shot.
But they do have some Christmas ones up there, too.
Good on the photographer for catching that moment. We're on the topic of bachelor and bachelorette parties. So I guess at the bachelor party, all the guys went and played football, and all the girls dressed up like old ladies and went to the Mall of America. Weirdest bachelorette parties either, but it looked like fun.
Yeah, so that was them with the Christmas tree and stuff.
This Daniel and Taylor. Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, it looks cute. So that's the zoom that one. That's good. So far, they look like they're good. The only way I can see them not making it, like going to the altar and saying no, is if she still can't get over the fact that he might have followed her and she just been keeping it to herself the whole time, because they just been having a good time ever since then. They're bonding so much over Christmas. So they started off with a little controversy, a little funny, he's a little short. It was a little interesting, but now they're just smooth sailing and nothing is happening with them. Yeah. So not making the show too boring, but I'm not as invested in their story anymore. It just got dull. Yeah.
So this ain't a part of No Couple, but they went on this snow gliding thing. It looked like they were having fun when they did that.
That thing did look fun. I was asking myself if I would do it. And I was like, I would. Now, if I would do the belly down like he's doing right there, everybody else is kind of sitting.
He was way too comfortable on that.
But that did look fun, though. When they pushed them all together and made them all go together, I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
So that was another thing they did as a group. The bachelor parties they did, separately, but it was the guys and the girls. Bachelor and bachelorette parties. All right, I'm ready to spin the wheel again and move on to another couple. Not too many couples left. What do we have all together? 4 couples?
5.
Oh, okay.
Well, 4. Wait, are we missing somebody? Yeah, we have 4 or 5. I don't remember.
I think it was 5. It was 5. We did 3 so far.
Yeah, Sara and Ben.
All right, so Sara and Ben. Now, they might be the plainest couple as far as not having controversy.
I don't even think so. I disagree.
But they do have little issues. Like they don't have controversy. Like there's nothing crazy. Like
none of them.
But
really
they have issues between each other. Some of them got love triangles.
Yeah, but not the ones that's left.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. They but they do have their own internal issues though. But all right. So there's a lot with Sara and Ben. Most of it is with Sara. Because she's not religious, but Ben likes church. Sara has a gay sister.
Yes.
Who's in a full-on relationship with a female partner. And she feels like church is not very accepting of that in religion. And so it's hard. So she's been church hurt is what they call it. She heard a few past ago. You've been church hurt. She's been church hurt. She probably been somewhere at a church and they didn't like the stuff that she kind of believed in.
Yes, and also they had a little bit of drama compared to other ones because of his ex or something that was on TikTok.
Yeah, they did bring that up. So he has some ex on TikTok. That was them, right? Yeah, yes. She was saying that she hates the way these reality shows don't make these guys look good when they, basically.
She was crying on TikTok saying she's tired of crappy men, pretty much. I guess she was talking about Ben.
Yeah, Ben goes, I think she's referring to me. I think she's referencing me.
Right, yeah.
And Sarah's like, what? He's like, yeah, I think she's referencing me. And he said that he blocked her and then she blocked him. And he had to talk to her for years?
4 years.
For 4 years, yeah. So,
but he said he doesn't remember what happened, how they broke up, which was kind of weird.
If she's that probably crazy. Didn't break up,
right, or something, or he don't want to say why,
or he didn't want to say why. My first thought was like it was straight to the blocking. But later on, so now we move on to like maybe episode 10, and they're at a cafe talking, and I think they're about to meet her sister and her sister's partner, but. They still talk about the girl attacking his character, the TikTok girl, and he seems to be a little worried about it affecting their relationship. She's basically like, okay, we can move on from that. So they do eventually move on. They finally meet her lesbian sister, her partner.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were on board with Sara and
really? Oh wow.
Ben. I don't think so. They talk a little bit about church and religion acceptance. And her sister's like, I hate the word acceptance. And then Sarah's like, so what word should I use? It's just like, but I get it. She's like, acceptance. She's like, I hate the way church says they have to accept people. We have to accept everybody. Why do we have to wait to be accepted? Whatever she's saying. But it's a whole bunch of stuff that just didn't need to be said at that moment. They talk some more. Sara goes on to talk about how much she's connected to Ben. She asked for is it Ben? Yeah. How much she asked for their blessing. She asked for their blessing. And they eventually go, no. Wow. They didn't technically say it like that, but they were like, what do you mean by blessing? And then they said that they just weren't blocking it. And they didn't feel like it was a real connection.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Episode 11, they go to a church service, and Sara is not for that church. She was not for it. She was not with the church-ish. She's sitting there like all arms folded, barely wanting to touch Ben. I guess she's listening to the sermon, and he's like, Jesus Christ this, and Jesus Christ that, and Jesus Christ that. I don't even know what else he said besides Jesus Christ. I don't even know what message he was trying to give. He was talking about somebody was married and somebody had a wife. And I don't know what else.
He was just trying to give like a general message that kind of relates to everybody. But Sara didn't kind of like that. She seemed like she wanted something more specific or pointed, or I don't really know what she wanted. That's what she was saying. She
said, I guess people go to church to get a different lesson every day. And I guess that works for them. But,
yeah, that's what she said.
And I can't say, she said, I'm not on board yet. And she said, I can't say yet because I don't know if I'll ever be on board. But she's just not feeling it. Yeah, church is not for her.
And she said she wants to try a new church, but it seemed like that's the case. Yeah, it seems like she wants a church that's all about gays.
She need to go to a black church. She need to go somewhere that church is having fun. That's what she said. Like it's something. If it was fun, maybe.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even having fun. They're just in there talking, sitting around, dressed like nothing. They're just sitting there talking. And apparently he goes to church with a group of like 5 or 6 people on a regular basis. I don't know which group that is, but maybe he has a friend group and they go. Yeah. There's only one other person with them that day, but That's about it. We'll see if she comes around. Do I care about this story? I do want to know if she's ever gonna, go to church. If she's ever gonna like church. They seem to like each other, but I do think that little whole religion thing is kind of in the way. Plus, there was a time in the pods where they also didn't connect on something. I think she was talking about politics. Do you remember that when they didn't connect in the pods?
Yeah, I thought we talked about that last time.
We did, yeah. So there's a couple of things she I think in the back of her mind, she's like, is this gonna work? I feel like she might say no. Or he might say no at the altar. There's a chance.
Yeah, I think she will be the one to say no, if anything, because he seems like he's willing to work through a lot more stuff than she is. She seems a little more hesitant.
And then when she's mad, she's almost like a little bit hesitant towards him. Like she didn't like church, so she was almost like treating him like kind of like with her side to him.
Right, but then she said she was just happy to be there with him, so that's why she went.
Her body language didn't say that. But
yeah, that's what she said in the confessional. All right.
Okay. I guess we'll spin the wheel and move on to the next couple. I think they won't make it, if you want my opinion. But just because of the religion and the politics thing, nothing else. I think they're cool. They have fun together. But we shall see. And they're going to make us do. Cool, child. All right. So we got Lauren and David. David can go.
What?
David is getting on my nerves. I can't remember. Like, David is really getting on my nerves. When he comes to the reunion, he can expect a issue. Everybody's gonna come down on him. Everybody's gonna be throwing shade towards his way, unless he does something to pick up. He is giving douchey.
Well, I guess I at least have a little bit to say about David.
But as a couple, they started off not so good. Everything seemed to be okay, but I feel like as soon as they got back to wherever they got back to, he was just like, yo, I heard you had a boyfriend. And then she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, my friend got a friend who knows somebody who used to mess with.
Well, before that, they was having other issues too. Like his family wasn't sure about meeting her.
That too.
And then
her dad didn't want to come either.
Right, yeah.
I think both of their families his family wasn't too sure about the whole process.
So yeah, in episode 8, they were talking about how their families don't know that they living together. I think his family, or maybe it was her family, they don't approve of doing that, living together before marriage. And then next episode, he just pretty much said he didn't want to meet her family.
Yeah.
And then that's when he talked about the friend with benefits that she had in that episode too.
And then his sister, which this situation is kind of weird too. His sister has a lot to say, and he really cares about what his sister. Like he really cares about what his sister has to say. Like his sister must be his life coach because he like holds on to her every word, and then he talks about her a lot.
Right.
But she says she thinks he's gonna go in there, and isn't she the one who says she thinks he's gonna meet some girl who's just trying to be famous? Was that him?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, what I know what somebody's sister said.
But yeah, they both think like once they meet her, they'll feel different about that.
So yeah, but he definitely knows somebody who she used to mess with. She keeps saying it's nothing. It was a friends with benefits thing, and it was nothing to really be worried about. He doesn't like how close it was to the time she entered the pods. And which I can't tell, maybe the week before, it seems like they're trying to say, judging by everything they say and everything she says, because his friends are the ones who keeps telling him this.
She keeps going between, it seems like keep going between a week ago, but she's trying to say 2 months ago. Yeah. But he believes it was way sooner than that.
Either way, she's like, you shouldn't be worried about it because it was nothing. We were friends with benefits, and now I'm here with you. And he's like, how could you be ready to be married with me? You were sleeping with some guy not too long ago. And she was like, he was nobody. He was just a random dude. But I guess she must have known him for months. Yeah. So, and then another thing was she didn't officially break it off with him. So he told his friend's cousin's sister or somebody. He told somebody that he thought that maybe they were still supposed to have something. And so David is not feeling this at all.
Right.
David hates the situation. And I mean, like, when I say he's not feeling it, it is the driving force between the driving force towards the reason why he doesn't really give her any energy at this point, other than to tell her how he feels about that.
And her friends was really trying to tell him it wasn't even like that, but he was not trying to hear it.
Yeah.
And then
he decides his friends are there. He decides he doesn't want her to meet his friends, and he's going to go out with his friends on his own.
And then his phone was off.
Then when he goes out with his friends, mind you, at some point he's supposed to go to a bar where the other people from the pods go to, and potentially Molly. And then he goes out with his friends, and then she can't reach him all night. So I can imagine how Lauren is feeling.
Right. Yes, she was kind of concerned about him.
And we know Molly was his other connection in the pods.
Molly, yeah.
Yeah. So what else do we have on that? I know there's a lot more to it.
So episode 11, like right after the mixer, that's when before that, did we say they ended things?
No, they didn't.
Right. So before, I'm guessing it's beginning episode 11, that's when they ended things.
How did it get to the point where they ended?
They had a conversation, then they ended up having another conversation.
Yeah, it was a conversation after conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the second conversation was a little bit shorter, so I'm guessing that's where Heath was like, finally, no. He was the one that pretty much broke the things off. It seemed like she really didn't want to. Still.
Yeah, because he could never get over that thing with the friend.
Right.
With her friend with benefits, he couldn't get over that to save his life. When he comes back, he mentions that he did go to the Nolo and in some other place, like the basement or something like that, and that's where the other people from the pods were. But he said Molly was there, but people asked him if he wanted to meet her, and he said no, he's not gonna meet her at this time. So I guess he didn't say hi to her or whatever. Mm-hmm. Later they end up meeting her mom though, cool. And then her mom thinks Dave is the one. She talks about how the dad couldn't come because whatever, but Dave said his dad couldn't come because he likes to travel and he's probably golfing and he probably won't be there for the wedding, which was weird. Like he's golfing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
So he might not make it to the wedding. But then he goes on to say, but if I want them to, and my family will definitely be there, which it's given he doesn't want them to. Like it's given he doesn't want to make too many plans towards this. He's way too committed to his sister. Did I add that? Okay, I just want to say that because he talks about his sister again. He says, so at some point, she does mention, Lauren does mention she wrote a letter to his sister, to David's sister, but he never gave it to her. And I guess she was just like pleading her case, like, I want you to meet me. I think, we'll get along. And, she goes on and on, but for whatever reason, he never gave her a letter. Anyway, they go to like a bowling alley. They get back on the topic of the friend with benefits again, and it gets a little touchy. And then he's like, maybe we shouldn't talk about this here, right? Because in a bowling alley. So instead, they go to a theater, which I think is way more of a private place. Anyway, they go from the bowling alley to the theater. Actually, the theater is kind of empty. So they're in there. It looks like in a theater for just like a specific building or something. And they're just talking, and then that's when they kind of end things. Right. And she's hurt because he basically ends it, and he still can't get over that whole friends with benefits thing. They go on from there, and it goes on. Other stuff happens, but then we still have to see them again because they come back later on. Anyway, so I want to say this is at the mixer. Yeah. He does come back, and I guess we'll get more into that later, but he does come back, and he essentially just apologizes. He goes in confessionals right before that, and he's saying that he feels like he shouldn't have let everybody have such an impact on his relationship. So he starts thinking about maybe he's messing up, and he goes and tell her, he goes through all types of different twists and turns and curves to tell her that he's sorry. Yeah. He eventually apologizes. And it sounds like he's trying to get her back. Yeah. And she just goes, I think we're past that. Yeah, pretty much. And that was it for them. So I guess it doesn't go past that. I'm assuming that we won't hear from, well, we're probably going to see them again one more time because they didn't exactly go home. So maybe we'll see them again. I think we will hear from them again maybe in the at the weddings. They're probably going to ask them if they're going to have a wedding or not. But we're probably going to see maybe less of that. I don't
know how the rest of it works, so I don't even know if we'll see them again.
Yeah, so when they finally, because you could tell it's getting to the weddings after season 12, you can see everybody getting their wedding dresses and getting fitted for tuxedos and stuff, and then you even see one of the weddings start. So
can they change their mind and get married?
They can still, because they made it that far. They can still, because they're gonna still set up their wedding.
Okay.
So they can still go, but they could call it off too. So, but they can actually go through with it, and they can both be at their little wedding. But we didn't see them trying on clothes, so I'm assuming they didn't. But they'll still most likely talk to them again. If they don't end up talking to them at the weddings, we'll definitely see them at the reunion and find out what happened with them there. So
okay.
Too much though. Too much. And maybe it's not time for them. For one, as far as Lauren, maybe she shouldn't have done that.
If she shouldn't have done what?
Slept with that guy a week ago or whatever. If she did, if that's what it is. She knew she was going to the experiment. She was just having a little fun. Maybe she was just having her last moment. She's like, what if I do get married? Maybe I should have one more night with this guy. Maybe not. But at the same time, she had nobody. She was in no type of relationship. She had nothing to commit to at that point before she went in the pod. So that happens. And she's like, but I'm still looking for somebody. So she still goes to the pods and she meets him. Anything she did before she met him is basically, I'm not gonna say none of his business, but it's not like she did anything to betray his trust or anything or to mess up her. She didn't have any commitment to him. So for him to be that upset over it is a bit much to me because it happened before they even heard of each other, before she even knew he existed. Was when it happened. So it's a bit much to me for him to be that distraught.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
So we might as well just get straight into talking about the little mixer event.
Yeah. So you know what the mixer? We're calling it a mixer. I don't know what they actually call it on Love Is Blind. You just see a whole bunch of people walking in the door at a bar, and it's pretty much everybody. Like all the what do you call them? Contestants or participants is what they call them. Everybody from the pods comes back. Everybody who hasn't seen each other in a while sees each other again.
Yeah, so they all was there like they was all best friends, which they probably did become from the show. But yeah, they was acting like they were really close. Friends. And they took these little shots. That was cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the shots they had like the shot board. It's like one of them boards you put like a flight of drinks on, and they all had their own little thing, and they pull up the whole board and they take a shot. The guys and the girls both do it. It was really cute.
The girls took a cute one.
They really did. Oh,
yes, that was like them taking a shot. So each one of them. How did they make sure it's coordinated to make sure they all get the shot? I guess
you gotta say 1, 2, 3, go. Maybe.
And then I guess you can't not fully take the shot.
You have no choice. But it looks like you have no choice but to fully take it. Yeah, like, you gotta throw that back. I wonder where that is though. What place that is? Where everybody is.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So, people are gradually walking into the bar, which we're calling the mixer. Because everybody is there, you mixing everybody, all the people from the pods.
I guess you could call it a bar too, because they having drinks.
I think it is a bar. No, I'm saying I'm calling the event a mixer.
Right.
I'm sure it's at a bar.
Right.
So I know if you don't remember, we were talking about Meg, Molly, some other people who didn't make it because they actually didn't match or they left their match or their match picked somebody else. There's also a guy named Mason. Anyway, these people all didn't match in the pods, but for some reason, Mason and Meg come walking into the mixer holding hands. They're coming in there, they're holding hands, and they're like, we're such good friends. And they're like all over each other, talking about how good of friends they are. They're some really good friends holding hands, walking into the mixer or whatever. They do come in there looking very happy. They're talking to everybody. They're smiling, very happy-go-lucky. But it looks like a little fun thing. Also, who comes in? Brittany, which was Devin's other little could have been match. But it was his other, what do you call people? You connect,
the
connection.
match connection.
They didn't match.
Some of them was calling it relationships, like your other relationship.
Yeah, your other relationship. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah. So eventually, so she comes in and she talks to
everybody. Yeah, she was getting
Devin.
along with everybody.
Yeah,
she also hugged another dude. I guess she was talking to Joey too for a little bit. She was like, "Hey, Joey." So,
yeah, she was talking to everybody.
Yeah.
She but she talked to Devin for a little bit, and
yeah,
she basically talked the whole time about other than she mentioning that she thought he was a little immature for not understanding her little secret, which was that she was bi. But most of the time, she was just like, "Oh, I think Virginia's the one for you."
Yeah, she said
she's agreeing that she has to be invited to the wedding,
and she said they seemed like the most genuine couple there. So, she was really happy for them.
She did say that. Yeah. So who else talks at the mixer? Molly and Lauren talk at the mixer. And Molly wants to tell Lauren how she saw some girl all over David.
Oh gosh, messy.
Very messy. And I guess at some party at some other point, that was probably the night he went out and stayed out all night. Anyway, Lauren brings up to Molly that Lauren brings Molly up to speed about all the drama that she had with David and was like, yeah, that's over anyway. So, and then Molly goes in a little David bashing moment. And then that's really it. I don't think anything else happens. We see Madison. Who did Madison have? Madison was with Mason at first, right? And who did she?
They was all talking at the same time.
They were all talking. Anyway, she ended up walking away from the whole situation and not going home with anybody. But she comes back with this pink hair. She seems to be really happy too. Well, no, she seems to be a little bitter towards everybody.
Yes.
She's like having a good time, but she's also talking about everybody. Like, well, not everybody. She's mostly talking about Mason and Alex, and not in such a good way.
Yes. What did she say about Mason?
She said he's an ick.
Yeah, like what she mean by that?
Yeah, I don't know what she means by that, but that's what she said. And then she starts talking to Lauren about Alex and saying how Alex is not, I don't know, like not a good guy, basically. And then she said when she got back, Alex was the first person to contact her when she got her phone back. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him, and she doesn't have anything nice to say about Alex. She does not like Alex. Molly eventually goes on to talk to David. And the only thing she talks about is talking to,
She talked about Lauren, but she seemed generally like she wanted them to work out.
Yeah, she did. All she talked to David about was Lauren. And I think maybe that's what changed David's mind. Because Lauren Molly just had good things to say about Lauren.
She did.
And she said she'll always have her back. Right. That was the last thing I remember from the mixer. Now we just have to worry about what's going to happen next in the weddings.
Yes.
That's that. We're pretty done here. This is Molly talking to David about Lauren, right?
Yeah.
Look, it's like off look at the thing. It sounded like you did not give it a chance. I guess he decided to give it a chance after that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that is it. That's all the topics we have on that. All we have to do next week is the weddings. And so we'll see how that works. After the weddings, it'll be the reunion. I think they said the reunion is coming out like the Sunday right after the weddings. This is going to be very interesting. But we will see you in those episodes, like after those episodes.
There's only one more and then the reunion.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. And they're saying that the reunion is coming on the Sunday right after the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gotcha. So after that, we will definitely be back to see if things worked out the way we thought. Like I said, I think for the most part, Virginia and Devin may go on to get married. Ben and Sara, most likely. Definitely not Lauren and David, and possibly not. Oh my gosh, what's his name? The one with the long hair.
Sara and Ben. No,
the long hair.
Oh, Joey and Monica.
Joey and Monica. I don't think Joey and Monica are gonna I don't think they're gonna make it.
Why not?
Their issues are too much.
What issues do they have?
Religion.
That's Sara and Ben.
Oh, you're right. That's
Right, yeah.
No, okay, Joey and Monica are going to make it.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. That's Sara and Ben who I think you're right. I think it's Sara and Ben who I think aren't going to make it. I'm glad you actually corrected me on that because I was about to run with that's who that is. The one with the long hair is going to make it. They're good in the stock draw.
Mm-hmm.
They're fine. It's Ben and Sara with the lesbian sister.
I think they could still make it, but who knows?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you think. Thank you for watching. This is Royally Speaking. I'm NY Tasha.
I'm Demi J. Thank you for watching.
And we'll see you next time. Good night.